Hello, friends, and welcome to Link to Legends. Friends, Michael Jackson was the most famous man in the world, a child star who became a global icon, a performer like no one else. From the Jackson 5 to Thriller, he changed music, broke barriers, and touched millions of hearts. But on the 25th of June, 2009, the king of pop fell forever. Inside a mansion in Los Angeles, Michael Jackson was found unresponsive. At just 50 years old, he was gone. His death shocked the world and left behind a painful question. How did we lose the greatest entertainer of all time? Was it drug addiction? Was it a doctor's mistake? Or something even darker? That's the truth we're about to uncover. This isn't just a story about the end of a famous life. It's a story of brilliance, pain, betrayal, and the high price of fame. This is the final chapter in the life of Michael Joseph Jackson, a man who gave everything to the world, but couldn't save himself. We've spent countless hours researching this story, so make sure to watch this video till the end so you don't miss a single hidden detail, and leave a like if you enjoy it. Before we dive in, tell me, where in the world are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments. Let's see how far this legend's story travels. In March 2009, Michael Jackson stood on stage in London with a hopeful smile and announced his big comeback tour. This is it. 50 shows, 50 nights, one final curtain call. But behind that smile was a man struggling physically, emotionally, and financially. Michael hadn't performed live in over 12 years. His body was tired from decades of dancing, and his mind was weighed down by public scandals and personal pain. He was $400 million in debt, and the tour was his only way out. AEG Live, the company promoting the shows, saw it as a chance to save both Michael and their own business. It was a risky plan, and the pressure on him was huge. Rehearsals began in Los Angeles. Michael worked hard. He danced through pain, sang through fear, and smiled even when he couldn't sleep. He wanted everything to be perfect, not for the media, but for his children and his legacy. But those close to him could see the truth. His makeup artist, Karen Fay, said that in April he looked thin but happy. By June, she barely recognized him. He was like a ghost, she said. Michael was doing everything he could to make a strong return, but deep down, the pressure was already drowning him. The price of growing up too fast. Imagine a little boy with a big voice, singing his heart out on stage, but behind that talent was a child living in fear. Michael Jackson grew up in Gary, Indiana, in a small, crowded house with 9 siblings. Music gave him joy, but it also brought pressure. His father, Joseph Jackson, formed the Jackson 5 and pushed Michael into the spotlight when he was just 5 years old. Michael later spoke about those early years. Rehearsals were strict. Mistakes were met with anger and sometimes beatings. His father teased him about his looks, calling his nose too big. These moments left deep emotional scars that never fully healed. Some people close to him believe Joseph may have tried to delay Michael's puberty to protect his young singing voice, but that part of the story has never been proven. What we do know is that Michael was growing up fast under a spotlight few children could handle. Then, in 1984, everything changed again. While filming a Pepsi commercial, fireworks went off too early and set Michael's hair on fire. He suffered serious burns to his scalp. After that, he began using painkillers to cope with the pain. Over time, this would quietly grow into something much more dangerous. By the late 1982nd, Michael's appearance started to change. The media accused him of trying to become white. But the truth was far more painful. He had vitiligo, a skin condition that caused his pigment to fade. To manage it, he used makeup, wore gloves, and often covered himself with hats and sunglasses. In a 1993 interview with Oprah, he opened up about it. Still, many didn't believe him until his autopsy in 2009 confirmed it was real. The 1992nd brought even more heartbreak. In 1993, Michael was accused of child abuse for the first time. A second case followed in 2003. He was found not guilty in court, but the damage was already done. The media labeled him Wacko Jacko. Paparazzi followed his every move. People mocked his voice, his face, even his kindness. The world had turned on him. He pulled away from the spotlight, lost trust in those around him, and leaned more and more on prescription drugs just to find peace. Behind the fame, the costumes, and the moonwalk was a man carrying more pain than most of us will ever understand. What happens when the person meant to save you becomes the one who seals your fate? In May 2009, just weeks before the This Is It tour, Dr. Conrad Murray entered Michael Jackson's life. A cardiologist deep in debt, he was hired by AEG Live to keep Michael healthy enough to perform and sedated enough to sleep. His salary, $150,000 a month. But Murray's care was anything but safe. Michael had long battled chronic pain, anxiety, and severe insomnia. He was already taking medications like Demerol, Xanax, and Zoloft. Then Murray introduced something worse, Propofol. Michael called it milk for its cloudy appearance, a surgical anesthetic meant only for hospitals. But for 60 nights, Murray gave it to him at home, without proper monitoring, oxygen, or emergency backup. This wasn't treatment. It was slow destruction. On the 24th of June, 2009, Michael delivered his final rehearsal. He was energized, focused the king again, said director Kenny Ortega. That night, he waved to fans outside his home, but later, the insomnia returned. At 1 a.m., Michael begged for the milk. Murray refused at first, trying other sedatives, Valium, Lorazepam, Midazolam. Nothing worked. By 10:20 a.m., Murray gave in, injecting 25 milligrams of Propofol. Michael finally slept, but he never woke up. Murray left the room. When he returned, Michael's breathing had slowed. His pulse was fading. He attempted CPR on a soft bed against all protocol. The 911 call wasn't made until 12:26 p.m. By the time help arrived, it was too late. Michael Joseph Jackson, the father, the artist, the icon, was gone. After Michael Jackson died, one painful question remained. Who was truly responsible? Dr. Conrad Murray was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter. He served 2 years in prison. But can all the blame fall on one man? What about the people who pushed Michael to perform 50 shows at age 50? The doctors who gave him powerful drugs without asking enough questions? The media that mocked his face, his voice, his life? The fans who always demanded more? And what about Michael himself? Was he just a victim of others, or also of his own choices? Addiction is never simple. Fame isn't easy, and genius always comes with a price. Michael Jackson wasn't just a pop star. He was a dreamer who gave us Thriller, Billie Jean, and decades of unforgettable music. A record breaker, a loving father, a man who gave millions to charity. But behind the spotlight, he carried deep pain. Pain from childhood. Pain from being judged. Pain from a world that never let him rest. He gave everything to the world, but in the end, there was nothing left for himself. According to Dr. Murray, Michael's final words were, "Just make me sleep. It doesn't matter what happens." He wasn't just asking for rest. He was asking for peace. Michael Jackson's death wasn't just a medical mistake. It was a warning, a tragedy, a human failure. He needed care. He needed protection, and the world failed him. But his music, his message, and his magic still live on. He gave everything. And what we lost, we can never get back.